about the 3 and 4 variable K-maps, how we can construct 3 variable K-map, how we can construct 4 variable K-map, and how we can do the simplification of expression using this K-map. As rightly said by Sohan, basically a K-map is a graphical method which is used to eliminate redundant variables present in the Boolean expression, so that we can get the simplified expression and ultimately we can reduce the cost of implementation. Already have explained you in the previous class what exactly you mean by cost of implementation. A cost in terms of less number of gates and less number of inputs to every gates which we are going to use to implement that particular expression. I hope all of you understood what exactly K-map is and how a 2 variable K-map is constructed. Anybody who has not understood 2 variable K-map? Anyhow, 2 variable K-map very rarely we use. Normally we will be using 3 variable, 4 variable, in fact 5 variable K-maps are also possible. But in your syllabus we are going to discuss only 2 variable K-map, 3 variable K-map and 4 variable K-map. Right? Anybody is having any difficulty in understanding 2 variable K-map which we have discussed in the previous class? Or is it clear what we have discussed in the previous class? There should be response, either say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine. So we'll discuss now 3 variable K-map. Now when we say 3 variable K-map, like how many input combinations are possible with 3 variable K-map? Yes? So when we have 3 variables, how many input combinations we will be having?
8.
How many? 8, exactly. 2 to the power 3 equal to 8. So when you construct 3 variable K-map, how many cells the 3 variable K-map should have?
8.
Obviously 8. Now these 8 cells, how we can represent? So these 8 cells in a 3 variable K-map can be represented by 2 different ways. Like 2 different ways means what? We can have 2 rows and 4 columns, or we can have 4 columns and 2 rows. Because 4 into 2 totally we have to get 8 different cells in the 3 variable K-map. So we'll start with the construction of 3 variable K-map. So I will be having a K-map having 8 cells. I hope whatever I am drawing is visible. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Clearly visible, or I need to draw a little bit bigger? Is it visible for all?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can see
Yes,
how many cells I have drawn here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is one way of drawing. Or you can just tilt it and make it vertical. That is also possible. So that's why, unlike 2 and 4 variable K-maps, we'll get 2 different positions for a 3 variable K-map. Either you can have horizontal arrangement, or you can tilt it and you can make the vertical arrangements. Now here, how many this thing we are having? What is this? Rows. This is first row, second row. Whereas how many columns we are having?
4.
How many columns we are having? 4. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, right? And how many rows? 1 and 2. So if you want to represent these 2 rows, how many variables you need? Because a variable should take either this value or this value. So how many variables you need to cover these 2 rows?
1.
Yes, only 1 variable. Only 1 variable is sufficient to cover these 2 rows. But if you want to cover all the columns, how many variables you need?
2.
2. Why 2? Because 4 different values you need to have. So how you will get these 4 different values? Definitely by using 2 variables. So if you have say 3 variables A, B, C, how do you write it? Here I will write A, and then B and C I will write here. Why I have done like this? Why only I have written A here? Because here I need 2 values, and those 2 values a single variable can take. Similarly here, how many values I need? 4. So how many variables we require to cover those 4 values? 2. Right? So when you see this now, this A can take what are values? What are the values?
0.
0,
0 or 1. Similarly, if you take B and C together now, what are the values B and C together can take?
0 0 0
0
1
0
1
0
1 1
0
0.
1
0
0
1
1
1 0 and 1 1. So I can write this as 0 0, then 0 1, then 1 0 and 1 1. Now you can observe there how I have written these values. I have not written sequentially 0 1 2 3. I have written 0 0 0 1, then 1 1 1 0. This is very important thing that you have to remember when you are moving from one cell to another cell in any K-map, whether it is 2 variable, 3 variable, 4 variable, 5 variable. When you are moving from one cell to another cell, only one of the variables should change. Right? What is the meaning of one of the variables should change? Now you can take here. What are the values of B and C? 0 0. Right? Next, B and C, what values they are taking? 0 1. Right? So here what is changed? B is fixed. Only C is changed. Now suppose instead of writing like this, if I write like this only, normal 1 0 1 1. Right? So here 0 is fixed. Only C has changed. Now here what is happening? This 0 is changing to 1, this 1 is changing to 0. That means when you are moving from this cell to this cell, what is happening? Both the variables are changing. Similarly here, 1 is remaining same, this is changing. But if you take this order, what is happening here? Both the variables are changing. So that is not allowed. That is a very important property of the K-map. So what we need to write here is, what you should write here? 1 1, and then here we need to write 1 0. I hope that is clear. Any difficulty here? All of you understood? There should be response from you people. Say either yes or no, whether you understood how to numbering. That is very important.
Yes, sir.
Why we have to write in this order? I explained because only one variable should change at any given time when you are moving from one cell to another cell. Here also you can say only one can change. But here there are two variables. So out of the two, only one should change when you move from one cell to another cell. I hope it is clear. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Okay, fine. Now you have to number each cell, like it is the address for that particular cell. Can you tell me what will be the address for this cell? What are the values of A, B, C? You have to check. What is here? A is 0, B is 0, C is 0. So this can be numbered as what? 0. 0, 0, 0 means 0. Next, this is 0, 0, 1 is what? 1. Next, 0, 1, 1. 0, 1, 1 is how much? 0, 1, 1 is 2.
3.
0, 1, 1 is 3. Then 0, 1, 0 is 2. 0, 1, 0. You have to write that. That's all. Decimal equivalent of that binary number you have to write. Next, 1, 0, 0 is how much?
4.
1, 0, 0 is 4. Then 1, 0, 1 is
5.
5. 1, 1, 1.
7.
7.
1, 1, 0.
6.
6.
This is how the cells has to be numbered. Is that visible what I have written there or no?
Yes,
you can just
sir.
zoom it. Actually, if you are using your mobile, you can zoom it. And if you are using laptop, there is no issue at all. It will be clearly visible, I guess. Yes? Is that clear? Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Any difficulty here? This is how a 3-variable K-map is constructed. Right? So these values we have written in terms of zeros and 1. If you want to write it in terms of the variable, here what I should write? 0 means what I should write?
A bar.
A bar. 1 means
A.
A. Here 0 0 means what I should write?
B bar, C bar.
B bar, C bar. Here
B bar, C.
B bar,
B bar, C. Here
BC,
BC. And here
BC bar.
BC. This is how you can have a 3-variable K-map. I hope it is clear. All of you understood it? Yes?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So this is what is the 3-variable K-map is. Then we'll see how it can be used for simplification. Quickly, I will explain you what is 4-variable K-map also. Then we'll see how K-maps can be used for simplification. Is that clear? Right? Shall we go to the 4-variable K-map now? All of you understood this?
Yes, sir.
How three variable K-map is constructed. I wanted to explain you how it can be used for simplification. We'll see it all together. Right? Any doubts? Anybody has not understood anything, you can ask. Yes? All of you understood? See, I think some of you just present physically.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? Sakshi, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Seema,
Yes, sir.
Snehal,
Yes, sir.
Snehal, okay, fine. Vishal, where is
Yes, sir.
Vishal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yogesh, what about Yogesh? Yogesh, where are you?
Yes, sir.
Nikhil,
Yes, sir.
good. Okay, so we'll move to the four variable then, right? So how do we construct a four variable K-map? Now, when we say four variable, how many input combinations are possible with four variables?
16.
16. So your K-map should have how many cells?
16.
16.
16 cells. Now, how do we arrange these 16 cells? Obviously, there is only one possibility now. We can arrange these 16 cells in what? 4 rows and 4 columns. There is no ambiguity like three variable, right? Because in three variable, we can put those 8 cells either by 2 by 4 or 4 by 2. 2 into 4, 8 or 4 into 2, 8. But when you are going for 16, there is only one combination which we have to use, that is 4 by 4. So a 4 variable K-map can be constructed like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So how many variables? 4. How many variables I should write here?
2.
Say I will take A, B, and here I will take C, D. Not necessarily always A, B, C, D. Whatever they give, W, X, Y, Z, right? P1, P2, P3, P4, whatever is there, accordingly you can write. Now here, how many cells? How many rows are there? 4. And how many columns are there? 4. So to cover those 4 rows or 4 columns, individually we need 2 variables. What are the values these variables can take now? 0, 0. Next.
0, 1.
Next.
1, 1.
1, 1.
Next what I should write? 1, 1.
0.
And then 1, 0. I told you why. Because there should be only single variable changing when you are moving from one variable to another variable. Then 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 0. I hope it is clear. Is it fine? Now you have to number these cells. What is the numbering of this particular cell or the address of cell? 0, 0, 0, 0. So is how much? 0. Then 0, 0, 0, 1 is?
1.
0, 0, 1, 1.
3.
3.
Then
2.
Then 0, 1, 0, 0.
4.
4. 0, 1, 0, 1.
5.
5. 0, 1, 1, 7.
7.
0, 1, 1, 0, 6.
6.
Then 1, 1, 0, 0. I told 8, 4, 2, 1, you should remember. 8, 4, 2, 1. Now you have to write 1, 1, 0, 0. It is how much? Check there.
12.
8 plus 4,
12.
12.
12.
12.
So this is 12.
12.
Then 1, 1, 0, 1.
13.
13.
8 plus 4, 12 plus 1, 13. Then 1, 1, 1, 1.
15.
1, 1, 1, 1 is 15. Then 1, 1, 1, 0.
14.
14.
Not 16. You will not get 16. Maximum 0 to 15 only, madam. Right? Next. 1, 0, 0, 0.
8.
Next. 1, 0, 0, 1. 1, 0, 1, 1.
11. 10.
So you can see how these are numbered. Because normally you have a habit of writing all the numbers sequentially. It should not be written. 0, 1, 3, 2. Or you can write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is very important change that you have to remember. Most of the time you will do the mistake here. You will write this as 8, 9, 10, 11. then 12, 13, 14, 15, no. So 0, 4, 12, 8 you will get. Not like 8 first and then 12. You are going to get 12 first and then 8. Is that clear? Is it fine? Now, how do we represent these cells by in terms of the input variables? Here, how do you write this 0, 0? How do we write 0, 0 in terms of AB?
A bar, B bar.
P bar, P bar.
Next,
A bar,
A
B.
bar, B. Next,
AB.
AB.
next,
AB.
AB bar.
AB bar. Then 0, 0 means what? In terms of CD, you have to write C bar, D bar. Next, C bar, D, CD, and CD bar. This is how you have to construct a 4-variable K-map. Is that clear? All of you understand what is a 4-variable K-map is? Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is what how we have to construct the 4-variable K-map. So any difficulty in these 3 K-maps which you have studied, like 1 variable, 2 variable, 3 variable, and 2 variable, 3 variable, and 4 variable. Right? Now we'll see how to do the simplification. In fact, in brief, when we have discussed about 2 variable, a little bit I have explained there. Now, when you are going to use the K-map for simplification, the accuracy or the efficiency of the K-map depends upon the user's ability to identify the groups. That is, user's ability to identify the larger groups to accommodate all the ones which are present in terms of SOP and all the zeros in terms of POS. Now I am talking only about the SOP K-map. Later we'll see what changes we need to do when we want to use a K-map for POS expression. Fine. So grouping means we have to club adjacent ones in terms of SOP, and we have to club adjacent zeros in terms of POS. So how we can group it? There can be isolated one. If you have the isolated one, it will be having all the input variables, right? So if you want to eliminate variables, you have to form the grouping. You have to form a group of 2 variables, that is group of 2 ones, or group of 4 ones, group of 8 ones, or group of 16 ones, and accordingly you can go on eliminating the literals present in the different product terms. So that process we can call it as forming the group is called as a pair, then a quad, then an octet. Now what do you mean by pair, quad and octet? As the name itself indicates. Can anybody tell me what do you mean by a pair? Pair is what?
Group of
A group of
2. Group of 2.
group of what?
Values.
Group of 2 adjacent ones. Group of 2 adjacent ones is called as a pair in terms of K-map. Similarly, what do you mean by a quad?
Group of 4 adjacent ones.
Group of 4 adjacent ones. Right? So these 4 adjacent ones may be what? Or horizontally present, vertically present, or they may be in the form of a square. That is, group of 4 ones is called as a quad. And what do you mean by group of what is octet?
Group of 8 adjacent ones.
Group 8 adjacent ones.
Group of 8 adjacent ones is called as an octet. So it can be again a vertical form or it can be in the horizontal form, right? So a group of 2 is called as a pair, group of 4 is called as a quad, and group of 8 is called as an octet. And the very important property here, pair eliminates 1 variable, quad eliminates 2 variables, octet eliminates how many variables? 3 variables. Eliminates means what? Those terms will not be present in that particular, those literals will not be present in that product term when you are writing the SOP expression. And same is applicable for POS also. So once again I am repeating here, group of 2 adjacent ones is called as a pair which eliminates 1 variable. Group of 4 adjacent ones is called as a quad which eliminates 2 variables. And group of 8 adjacent ones is called as octet which eliminates all the 3 variables. And in fact, you can form a group of all 16 ones also. In that case, all the variables will be eliminated. Is that clear? What is the significance of grouping and what exactly is the property of a pair, a quad and a octet? Is that clear? Yes,
sir.
all of you understood this? Now, the very important thing is how we need to do the groupings. When you are doing the grouping in the K-map, the grouping has to be done either in the horizontal direction or in the horizontal direction, but no grouping is allowed in the diagonal direction. Is that clear? What is the meaning of this statement? I said, when you are doing the grouping for adjacent ones to form a pair, quad or octet, you can club them either in the horizontal direction or in the vertical direction, or even by folding or overlapping you can do it. But we should never form a group in which direction? Diagonal direction. That means, suppose if I have one here and one here, can I form a pair like this? Is it possible to form a pair?
No, sir.
No. In the horizontal
No, sir.
or vertical direction only you can form. If it is like this, you can't form a pair. But if it is like this, I can combine these two adjacent and I can form one pair. Is that clear? Similarly, suppose if it is having like this. Okay. Some example, you can treat that. I'll write only once. And you should assume that all other are 0 right now. Okay. So how many ones I have shown in this K-map?
4.
How many ones I have shown? 4. That means out of 16 combination, 4 input combination gives output high. So how we can club this now? How we can form the groups here? Maybe I can form
2 pairs.
one group like this, that is called as what? A pair, and then I can form another group like this, that is pairs. So how many pairs we are having? How many pairs we are having here?
2.
Right? But there is a possibility of forming third pair also. But actually that is not required because already all the ones we have covered. If you cover all the ones, you need not go for additional grouping. But here there is one more group possible. Can anybody tell me what is that group? One more pair can be
Overlapping
formed,
one.
which is not required, but you can form, like which is actually
Second row top one
extra
and
pair.
bottom
Ones
one.
which are overlapping.
Second row top one
So
and
like
bottom one.
this and this can be combined to form one more pair, because when you fold the K-map, because folding and overlapping is also possible in the K-map. So if you fold it, what happens? When you fold this K-map, this one and this one, they become what? Adjacent to each other, because they are at the edges. One is at the top edge, another is at the bottom edge. So when I fold it horizontally, what happens? Both those edges, ones which are there, they will come adjacent to each other and you can form a pair. So suppose if this one is not there only, then what you would have done? Now assume that only 3 ones are there. How many groups you could have formed now? Right? This one pair I have formed, but one is remaining. So when one is remaining, you should not try to encircle that single. You should check, can I combine it with something else? Now in this case, what happens? This one I can combine with this by folding, and at the same time what we have done? We have done overlapping also. So what do you mean by overlapping? This one is already covered in this group. But when we are forming a group of this, we are using this one once again in this second group, then that process is called as what? Overlapping. I hope it is clear. I have explained here 2 important concepts. One is called as overlapping, another is called as folding or rolling. Is it fine? See, there are no responses from your end. Hello, dear students, are you there?
So your screen is blurry.
What happened?
Your screen is blurry, sir.
Screen is blurred. Now check, because in between I think there was some network problem. So it got reconnected. Is it okay now? I could able to see it properly here on my screen. Check.
Now it's okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it
Now
okay?
it's
Yeah. So all of you understood the concept of rolling or folding and overlapping? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
can anybody tell me what is the significance of grouping? What do you mean by pair, chord, octet? And what is rolling or folding and what is overlapping? Right? Before I take up the first example on simplification using K-map, you should be clear with all the concepts of K-map. Yes? What is the significance of pair, chord, octet? Quickly. Yes? Can anybody tell me what is the significance of chord, pair, octet? Yes, Saundarya, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What do you mean by pair, chord, and octet?
Group of two adjacent ones is pair,
Yes.
and a group of four adjacent ones is chord,
Yes.
and group of eight adjacent ones is octet.
Okay. What are the significance of this pair, chord, and octet?
Uh,
Pair.
Pair we can
Pair
in pair
eliminates what?
one
Pair eliminates one
one
variable.
variable,
Chord eliminates
two variables,
two variables, and
and
octet eliminates
three
three
variables.
variables. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Then what do you mean by overlapping and folding? Yes, Sridhar? Sridhar, can you explain me what is folding in K-map and what do you mean by overlapping?
combining the adjacent
Combining what? Yes, unmute
combine
and talk.
combining the adjacent variable.
Combining the adjacent variable, that's what is we are doing, that is grouping. But what do you mean by rolling or folding? Yes? What exactly you mean by rolling or folding?
Joining the top end and bottom end together and forming a pair.
Yes, Shreya?
So, which are at the end of the column or
At
row,
the end of the column or
forming
row,
a
so
square which are
that
at
you
the end of
can,
the
when you
columns or
fold
row.
them, they will come adjacent and you can combine them, right? Okay. So I hope all of you understood.
Yes, sir.
Rolling and overlapping means what? If already some ones are covered in one or the other group, but still they can be taken in the next group. That is called as what? That is called as what, Shreya? If you have covered already once, few of the ones in one group, but again you are taking them in some other group. That is
Yes,
called
sir.
as what? Overlapping. But
Overlapping.
when you are doing overlapping, you should see that one entire group should not be covered in bigger group. One entire small group should
Yes, sir.
not be covered in bigger group. That is not allowed,
Yes,
right?
yes,
If you are covering it in the bigger group, then why
sir.
you need to form the smaller group? Say for example, now I said here I have formed one pair, another pair, right? Now suppose if there is one more one here, what you could do then?
We
How
can
many?
form a chord
How many chord?
like four.
How many chord and how many pairs?
One. So one chord
Yes.
we can form and three pairs we can form, but one chord
Yes.
is
So
enough
those
for.
pairs should not be considered. Only you should form a group
Yes,
of
sir.
all fours, and that is called as what? A chord. I hope it is
Chord.
clear for
Yes, sir.
all. Anybody who has not understood?
Yes, sir.
Because next important thing we are going to do is we are going to solve the examples, and I hope all of you are having with a notebook and pen with you. Is that clear? All of you understood? Yes, Saili? You understood what is K-map? How K-map can be used for simplification?
Yes.
Is that clear? Right? And how you should number them, then how you should write this variable in terms of variables or in terms of zeros and ones. Everything is clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear? Okay, so before I proceed further, suppose before I go to the first example, suppose
Yes,
if
sir.
you get like this, imagine that we have two ones here. Maybe I will show 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Assume that you have an example wherein the zeros and ones are given like this. Now, how do we do the pairing here? Or sorry, how do you do the grouping?
One chord, one pair.
Yes, Sejan, can you help
One
me
chord, one pair.
in forming the groups here? Yes. What is the first group that I can form? Sejan, you are there? Sejal, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How do you form
Yes,
the group
sir.
now? Can you tell me? What is the first group that I can form? Which 2 cells or 4 cells or 8 cells I should combine so that I can form a group? What is the first group that I can form? Tell me which cell numbers are there? Which 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells I should combine? Cell number?
Sir, 1.
Huh? Cell number 1. Cell number 1 is this actually. That is 0
Yes,
is there. Then what you need to combine? You should see those cells which contains 1 and such adjacent ones you have to combine together to form either pair, quad or octet. Is that clear?
13 and
13 and
15.
13 and what?
15.
13 and 15. What I need to do there? I have to form
One
one
pair.
pair. Good, very good. Next. What is the next group that I should form?
8 and 10.
Can someone help her?
8 and 10.
Sahana, can you help her? Yes, you can together give me the answer. Sahana and Sejal.
0 and 2 by folding method.
0, 0 and 2. Okay.
And
Next.
8 and 10.
8 and 10 means you mean to say that I have to form one pair like this. Like this.
Yes, sir.
And then
8 and
then
10.
what? 8 and 10 like this. Okay. Anything else?
0 and 8.
What? Yes, Rohit.
So 0 and 8.
Yes, so 0 and 8 overlapping.
0 and 8 also.
So we can
That
0 and
means
8.
I should not, because now what is happening is all are covered actually.
So we can make
but
a
whatever groupings he has told, like Sahana has told me to, I have one pair of 0 and 2 cell, 8 and 10, and Sejan has told to form a group of 13 and 15. Now
So
my question is, we have covered all ones, but is it the optimum solution we are looking for, or
So
we are
we can
taking
get
the
a
optimum
chord.
solution from this?
So we can get a chord 0, 2 and 8.
0,
8 and
2, 8, 10. That means we need not form a pairs. These individual pairs we should not form. Obviously, when I fold this and this will form pair, this and this will form pair. Exactly, it is right. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now? Screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these pairs we have formed, 3 pairs we have formed, but as someone said, right, we can form a chord. Who told that we can form a chord here? Who?
Adnan.
Who?
Adnan.
Yeah, right. Whatever he said is 100% right. Instead of going for 2 independent pairs, Because when you fold this, what happens? This and this will be adjacent, this and this will be adjacent. And at the same time, if you do horizontal fold, this and this will be adjacent, this and this will be adjacent. So instead of forming individual pairs, what you can do now is, what I can do is,
Quad.
you should form, it should take like this. All four which are there at the corners of this K map can be combined, and four ones can be put together to form what is called as what?
A quad.
Quad. So finally we end up with what? How many groups? How many groups?
Two groups.
Two groups.
Two groups.
One pair and one quad. I hope Sahana, is it clear? Sahana
Yes,
told that there are three pairs, right? But actually there is one pair and one
Quad.
quad. So finally, if I want to write what is the product term for each of these groups, can you tell me? First I will take this. What is the product? Because every group which you will be forming, it will give you one product term. Now what is the product term corresponding to this? Yes? Can anybody tell me what is the product term corresponding to that pair first? Yes, Aditi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell me what is the product term corresponding to this pair? How we should form the product?
AB's.
What? How you are going to get the product term? And before that, already I have told pair eliminates one variable. So whatever product term you are going to get now, it will have only three variables, either in complemented form or in uncomplemented form. One of the variable will be eliminated, right? So how do we get the product term? That is very important thing in the K-map. So I am spending so much of time here because afterwards, if I give you just the problem statement, you should be able to solve that K-map. Now tell me what is the product term corresponding to this? Yes? How you should find the product term? You should check when you have formed this pair, this particular pair covers this row, right? It covers this row, and how many columns it is covering?
Two.
How many columns it is covering? Two. These two columns and a single row. When it is covering a single row, what is the product term corresponding to that? AB. So AB will be definitely there, right? But along with that AB, something else will be there. That depends upon this, right? So here it is common for these two columns and one row. From the row, what information I have got? AB. So in the product term, AB should be there. But along with that, something should be there. And that something comes from these two columns. Now you should take these two columns and you should check which is common here. Which is common in these two columns?
D.
Here C bar D is there, here CD is there. So which is common? That is it. So you should write ABD. C plus C bar. That gets vanished because that's what I told. That is the basic principle of K-map. X plus X bar equal to 1. That policy is used here. So the product term corresponding to this is what? ABD. Is that clear? Aditi?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now,
Yes, sir.
this is one product term we got. Now I want a product term corresponding to these four ones which are there. Can you tell me what is the product term for this? Yes, Jyoti, are you there? What is the product term corresponding to the chord which is there at the corners of this K-map? Jyoti, are you there? Yes.
A B bar, C bar, D
No,
bar.
first you tell me how we should get that. I don't want direct answer. How we should write the product. All of you understood how we have got ABD?
Yes, sir.
Yes. All of you understood how we have got ABD.
Yes,
B
sir.
bar, D bar.
Of course, this ABD is not from what South Africa. Here ABD are the three variables which we have got here. Yes, how we got this ABD? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, how we should get the product term for the chord? What I should check? I told you simple principle. You have to check whatever the group you have formed, what it is covering. It is common for which rows and which columns. From that you have to get the. So what should be the product term that you should get here? How many variables it should have? Like here, how many variables we have got from the pair?
3.
3. But totally how many are there?
4.
4. So what has happened there? One got automatically eliminated because pair eliminates one variable. Is that clear? Similarly, chord eliminates how many variables?
2 variables.
2. So whatever the product term you are going to get from this, it should consist of only 2. 2 will go, the remaining 2 should get. What is that? How do you get that? For that we have to check first. What you do is check it is common for which of the rows first. First always we'll write rows, then columns, so that we'll get in that sequence A, B, C, D. Fine? It is common between what? This and this. And at the same time, it is common between what? This and this. So from this, you will be getting one variable. From this, you will be getting another variable. Write that. That gives the product term for this. So what is common here between this and this? You have to check. A bar, B bar,
B bar.
A, B bar. So what is common?
B bar.
B bar.
B bar.
B bar. Then check what is common here.
B bar.
Between this and this, you have to check. What is common?
B bar.
So B bar is what? The product term corresponding to this. So which two variables are eliminated here? A and C. There what is eliminated? C. So finally, if you want to write what is the simplified answer for this, how do you write? F equal to what? ABD plus what? Whatever product term you are getting, you have to take sum of it. That's why it is called as sum of product. Whatever product terms you have got, finally you have to add them and you will get what is called as sum of product expression. So this is the sum of product expression for this. Is that clear? I have explained all the theoretical concepts about the K-map, right? Is this clear?
Yes,
Any
sir.
doubts?
Yes, sir.
Anirudh, where are you, man? Anirudh? Fine. See, that means, see, some of you are just physically present for the sake of attendance, I guess. Okay, so when we come across the simplification of K-map, we will be many times, we will be using what are called as what?
Don't care condition.
Don't cares. Already I explained you what you mean by don't cares. In digital systems, certain input combination never appears, and obviously corresponding output also will not be there. Such input combinations output is represented by X, and that X is called as don't care, and that X can be used either as 0 or 1. It's like in a cards pack there will be one joker present. Wherever you want you can use it. It is in the same way. X is like a don't care, which you can treat it as either 0 or 1. Is that clear? What do you mean by don't care? Don't care based on your convenience. You can use it as either 0 or 1. Right? But you have to be consistent at that particular location. So, suppose if I modify the same K-map which I have given, if I modify it like this, yeah, I will have 2 don't cares here, and maybe I can add one more don't care here also. Okay, all of you getting? I have done little changes in this so that I will quickly explain the concept of don't care, how don't cares can be accommodated in the K-map, and then we'll end for the day. And in the next class, we'll be studying the actual examples on the K-map. Okay, now this is the given K-map. How we should do the grouping? Can anybody help me in forming the groups? Yes, Daneshwari?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how I can form the groups here now? Are you getting? See how many ones are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ones are there, and how many don't cares are there? How many don't cares are there?
3. 3, sir.
3 don't cares. And how many zeros? 7. Right?
Yes, sir.
7 zeros, 6 ones, and 3 don't cares. That's all. Total 16. My question is now how I should do the grouping. The first group, anyhow, these ones are adjacent. I will retain that group. The corner group is present of all ones. That is done. Next, what I should do? Whether I should retain this group of 2 ones or no, or I can form any other groups.
So if we consider the don't care values either 0 or 1, we can form one more group, sir.
Yeah, means what group? What is that group? Instead of clubbing only these 2 ones now, since here don't cares are there, those don't cares
Take
can
that
be
one,
covered
one.
in the group, and I can form a
Quad.
quad like
quad.
this. That means these 2 x I have considered it as 1, and I have formed a group, bigger group. I got one more quad, right? But now I left with one more x. What we should do? Zeros we should neglect. We should not bother about the zeros, right? But we can't neglect even a single one. All one should be covered in any of the group. Now, what about the don't cares? What is the condition for don't cares? Yes, anybody?
Can consider
Yes.
it as 0.
Yes, Chandan. Whenever you are forming the groups in K-map, a very important condition is all the ones present in the K-map must be covered, right? You need not bother about the zeros. But the third question is now, what about the don't cares? Whether all don't cares should be covered in the groups or not, or which don't cares we should cover in the groups. Yes, Chandan, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we can
have you got
use
my
the
question?
Yes,
have you
sir.
understood my question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is the answer for that?
So we can use whatever don't cares we need as 1, and we can just leave the rest as 0.
Exactly. Very good. Whatever don't cares, if I take those don't cares and if I form a bigger group, consider those don't cares and don't bother about the remaining don't cares. It is not mandatory to cover all the don't cares. A selected don't cares which you want to treat them as 1, use them, and remaining you forget, so that you can form the bigger group. So here 1 x is remaining. I can combine this x with this one by forming a pair, but already this one I have covered somewhere else, so I need not bother to cover this one with this don't care. Leave it, and you can write the final answer f as this 4 already we have written. What was that? B bar D bar. Between this it is B bar D bar. Now what about this? Bhavna, can you tell me what is the product term corresponding to that chord?
BD.
How it is BD? Now these 2 you should check. It is B, and here it is D. So B bar plus BD. This is how we need to do the simplification using K-map. Is that clear? All of you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So with this, we'll stop here in today's class. In the next class, so we are going to solve the examples on K-map.